Okay, this one's gonna be this one. Okay, this is March 2013. Okay, so March 2013. Let me just make it bigger. Okay, so for the first part, I guess everybody has already understood what to do. So however, let's just go through it very fast for this one. So the first one is to define each of the following terms. You have the census study, the property sampling techniques, and qualitative variables. So I don't want to give because this one is already on the text, right? So you can just look at it for the answer. And then also fill in the blanks with appropriate terms. The number of descriptive measures of samples are called. Okay, this is number of the numerical descriptive measures of samples are called what? So it says numerical descriptive measures, right? So this is for samples, so that means it is called statistics. Okay, and then it's a method of making generalization about a population based on a sample. So this one is a definition for inferential statistics. So if you look through the solution here, so they give you, okay, number 2 is inferential statistics, and then this one is statistics. So this is supposed to be statistics, this is supposed to be down here, okay. All right, and then you have the census study, what it means by census. Okay, so census is study of the entire population, and above the sample technique, sample drawn in such a way that a member of the population had some chance of being selected. And lastly, you have the qualitative variable measured with non-numerical scale or categorical, right? So let's look at the one that you might have some trouble in understanding how to solve the problems. So for example, in this case, so they give you the situation. So a manager of a firm wishes to estimate the average number of medical leave taken by the employee. Okay, and then the firms has 5 branches with 15,000 employees located throughout the country. And then to carry out the study, the manager selects at random a total of 500 employees representing all branches. Okay, there is a term here, it says here, representing. Why my highlighter is not working? I don't know why my highlighter not working. Kita guna garisan je lah. So it says here representing all branches proportionately. Okay. So the number here, you have one number here is 500, and then you have the 15,000 employee. Okay. And then they want to estimate. So there's a word estimate average number of medical leave. Okay, that are some of the important items that you need to understand. Okay, so the first question asks you the population, and then they ask you for the sampling frame. So again, the population will be the who do you want to study in this situation. So basically, this is a study by a manager in his firm, and he is studying the total number of employee across the country is 15,000 employees, right? So that means the population will be all the 15,000 employees of the firm. Okay, you can just say that, okay, or you can be more specific. All the 1,500 employees for a firm that had located in 5 branches. Okay, so that will be the population. And then for the sampling frame, what you just need to do is simply add the words list of in front of the population. So you can just say list of all the 15,000 employees of the firms. That's it. Okay, so that is for the sampling frame. And then for the state, the variable, so you are looking of the variable of interest. So what is it that the manager want to discover? So in this case, the manager want to estimate. Okay, it says that the word estimate here give you an idea that is better indicate that afterwards, after that will be the one that the manager is interested to find out. So he want to estimate the average number of medical leave. So that means the variable will be the average number of medical leave. Okay, estimate the average number of medical leave. So basically, the general form of the variable will be number of medical leave taken. Okay, number of medical leave taken. And then what is the type of variable? So in this case, you have the word number, right? So basically, it will be quantitative. Okay, it's not a classification. So it will be a quantitative type of variable. Okay, so it will be a quantitative type of variable because you are dealing with a numerical response from the respondent. Okay. And then the next one says here, what is the appropriate sampling techniques that should be used? So again, in this situation, the first thing that you need to ask in the population, is there exists any subgrouping or not subpopulation? So in this situation, yes. So you divide the population into 5 branches, right? So that means you have A, B, C, D, E. So this is a grouping. So when you have grouping, so you know that it's going to be either cluster, certified, or multi-stage. And of course, in this situation, multi-stage is out of the list because there's no second level of grouping. So the level of grouping is only once, that is through branch. But in order to identify to differentiate between cluster and certified, you look at the item given here, say representing all branches proportionally. So that means the manager interested is to get respondent from each of the branches. So this indicate that for this one you need to use stratified sampling. Okay, and then how many employees should be selected from each branches? In that case, you have to calculate it proportionately using the formula. So for example, for A, so you have NA, so this will be 405 divided by 1,500 and then multiply with the number of sample units, so that is 500. So this gives you the number of sample needed from each of the branches. So you have to do this for all of the branch. So this is the answer that you're going to get for the number of branches. So calculating this one, you should get the sampling frame is list of all the employees of the firm. Okay. And then you have number of medical leave will be the and quantitative discrete. Okay, so that is the variable and also its type. So in this case, you have to remember whenever you deal with quantitative variable, you have an option of either quantitative discrete or quantitative continuous. So you have to differentiate between these two. So in this situation, it is a discrete value because you can count. Okay, if it is a measured value, then it's going to be continuous. And then the sample size, the sampling technique, it will be stratified sampling. And then for branch A, you calculate, you get 135. And then branch B, using the same process, C, D, and E, so you get respectively 85, 50, 100, and 130. So what you just need to do is simply take the number of elements in that particular branch, divided by the total number of elements in the population, and then multiply with the number of sample required. Okay, total number of sample required. So that gives you the sample size for each of the branches. Okay, so that is for the number 3. Okay, and then give one advantage of selected sampling technique. So you can just give any advantage. And what is the source of data used in the study? State 1 and what is. So again, this one also depends on the situation. So you can give any relevant answer. It's not just one answer. Okay, so that's why in this case also they in in the answer scheme, they give you any relevant answer. So that means any answer that is relevant, that is rational, is what you say, can be accepted. Okay, can be accepted. So for the type of data, so source of data, it will be secondary data. Okay, so it can be secondary data because you don't have to interview the number of sample respondent. You just need to know who are your respondent and then just check on the record. So you have the record, the manager has all the record for the leave taken by its employee. So you don't need to do a face-to-face or whatsoever. So in this case, just taking from the secondary data. Okay, so that is for the type of data source and also the advantage and disadvantage. So it says again, any relevant answer. So you can just give less time, less effort, inexpensive, and then disadvantage maybe may contain errors. Okay. However, for this situation, it shouldn't have this kind of disadvantage. Okay, so for a record, okay, from a record of your own company, it shouldn't have any errors by right. Okay, because this is a recorded one, it's a database. Okay, so if your database has errors, so it will have a problem with them. Okay. Okay, so that is for the question number 1. Okay, and then for the second part is the drawing of a multiple bar chart. So how to draw the multiple bar chart? Okay, let me just draw this quickly. So for this one, company 1 has 3 departments, A, B, and C. The following table summarizes the number of employees hired by the company from 2010 and 2012. Okay, whenever you deal with data that have years as one of its variable, sometimes it is wise to think of the years as the x-axis. Okay, however, it depends on the situation and how do you report the data. So if you are comparing between department across years, so that means you have to put the year as the x-axis. However, if you are comparing the performance of each department from year to year, so it is better for you to have the departments in the form of the x-axis. So the choice of whether year or department on the x-axis depends on your way of perceive the informations. Okay, so in this case, it doesn't state anything regarding that. Okay, so just give a general form that you have 3 departments and 3 years. So you can use year as the x-axis or department as a x-axis. Whichever method that you use will be the same because it doesn't give you a specific information on how you must create your bar chart, right? Multiple bar chart. So in this case, they want you to have a multiple bar chart. So that means when you have a multiple bar chart, meaning to say that the bar will be next to each other, it's clustered. Okay, so it's not stacking. So kalau component, if it is component or stack bar chart, the bar will be stacked on top of one another. But in this case, it is multiple bar chart, so the bar will be side by side. Okay, so if you draw this one, you should get the graph should be something like this. Okay, so this will be the graph. So this one is based on department across time. Okay, so based on department across time. So you can see, okay, this one, and then you can just give any comment, right? So in this case, if you want to give any comment, you can just say, okay, if you look through this one, okay, one of the comment that might be you might give is that you just look at the 2012, you can see that, okay, department A has the highest number of employee hired compared to department B and department C in year 2012. Okay, so that will be one of the example of how you comment, or you can just give any comment that is relevant to the graph that you have obtained. Okay, so this is the answer for the graphing techniques. Okay, so next we're going to look at the second question. So the second question deals with chapter 3, that is basically the measures of central tendency, or measures of position, and also measures of variation. Okay, so for both group and ungrouped data. So for the first one here, it is for ungrouped data, right? So in this situation, they ask you, okay, they give you Aaron keep tracks on the number of hours he spent exercising each week. The hours spent for 16 weeks are shown below. So you have 8.5, 6.6, and so on. And then the question asks you to find the mode. So in order to find the mode, what you need to do is simply finding the one that has the highest frequency. So just look at which one has the highest frequency. You can see that 8.5 once, 2, 3 times. Okay, 6.5 you have 3 times occur, 6.5. And then 8.7 you have twice, 6.6 you have 3 times also, right? So 6.6 over here, you have 6.6 here, you have 6.6 here. So 6.6 also occurred 3 times. So 8.5 occurred 3 times, 6.9 occurred twice, and then all others are occurring either twice or 2 times, right? So that means you can see 8.5, 8.5, 8.5, and then the other one you have 6.6, 6.6, 6.6. Okay, so any other values that occur most of the time? No, right? So that means in this situation, you can see that 8.5 and 6.6 both occur 3 times, while other values occur only twice or once. So in this situation, you have a multiple mode. Okay, you have a multiple mode. Okay, so ada kita 8.5. Okay. 8.9, 6.9, 8.4, 7.4, 8.7. Okay, no. Okay, so that means the mode here, x hat, is equal to 6.6 and 8.5. Okay, and then remember, how do you interpret its meaning? So whenever you want to interpret the term for the mode value, you must have the word most. Okay, so what it says here, okay, we can say most of the time Aaron spent 6.6 or 8.5 hours each week exercising. Okay, so that is how you interpret. Let's just see how they give you the answer. So here you have 8.5 and 6.6. So it says here, we have the word most here. Okay, you must have the word most in order to explain the terms, the mode value. So most number of hours Aaron spent on exercising each week are 8.5 and 6.6 hours. Okay, you have multiple mode in this situation. Okay, so that is the case. And then the second one asks you to find the third quartile and interpret its meaning. So they want you to find the third quartile. So remember, in order to find the third quartile, the first thing that you need to do is to rearrange the data in order. Okay, you can order the data from the smallest to the highest. So in this case, if you order the data from the smallest to highest, what you're gonna get will be, you start with the lowest one will be 6.6, right? So 6.6. Is it 6.6? Is there any more lower than that? No. Okay. So you have 6.6, 6.6, 6.6. Okay, and then you have 6.9, 6.9, and then you have twice 6.9. So another one that you have will be after that is 7, right? So 7.4. Okay, so here you have 7.4. Okay, is there any more 7? No. And then you have 8.3, 8.4, 8.4, and then you have 8.5, 8.5, 8.5, right? So I won't be doing that. So let me just check on this one. So you have 16 weeks. So the third quarter will be 3. The location will be 3n plus 1 divided by 4, right? So this gives you, so if you calculate this one, you should get 3 times 17 divided by 4, it should be 12.75. Okay, 12.75. So you have to look at the location for the 12th position and also for the 13th position. So you have 16 data, right? So that means you have to find the location for the 12th and 13th. Okay, let's see what is the value on the 12th and the 13th position. So let me just go back for this one. So you have the highest is 9.0. So this is on the 6th. Is it 16? Yeah, this is on the 16th position, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, 8, 9, 10, 11. So that means after 8.5 will be the 12th position. So the 12th position is 8.6. And the 13th position will be, you have 8.6, and after 8.6 is 8.7. So 8.7. Okay. So calculate this one, you should get the value of the third quarter to be 8.6 plus 0.75. You're going to get it to be 8.6. Sorry, 1 divided 1.1. 675. Let me check, right? If I'm not mistaken. Okay, so 8.6 plus 0.75 times 8.7 minus 8.6, you get 8.675. Okay, so this is what you have for your quartile. So the position of the quartile is 12.75, and then so the value should be between the 12th and the 13th position. So that means this is between 8.6 and 8.7. 8.7, right? Okay, 8.7. So that means you get the value to be 8.675. Okay, remember, whenever you have a quartile, so the third quartile is somewhere here. So this is Q3. So here you have 75%. So here you have 25%. What it says here, 75% of your data will be less than the Q3, 25% of the data will be more than Q3. So you have two options in interpreting the value of Q3. Either you are using the 75% or you use the 25%. So in this example, in this solution, they give you regarding the 75%. So it says here 75% of the number of hours he spent exercising each week was less than, okay, less than 8.675. If you want to use the 25%, because 25% is on the right side, which is more than the Q3 value, right? So you can just say 25% of the number of hours he spent exercising each week was more than or equal to 8.675 hours. So that is another way of interpreting. Okay, so you can use 75% or you can use 25%. So if you want to use 25%, I give you here. So you can just say that 25% of, okay, whatever value that you have here was more than, okay, and then the rest, okay, 8.675. Yes. Okay, so you have two ways in order to explain the meaning of quartile. Okay, either you're using the 75% less than the value of quartile, or 25% was more than the value of the quartile. So this is for the third quartile. If for the first quartile, it will be vice versa. Okay, it will be 25% less than the value, 75% greater than the value. Okay, so that is in terms of calculating the the quartile and interpret its meaning. Okay. Okay, the next one is using the group data set. Okay, let's see how we can do the group data set here. So let me just open the Excel. I will show you both. For those who are not familiar with the use of the calculator, we will be using both methods. Okay, I will show you using the Excel, using the table form, and then do it once. So this one, okay. So the first thing that you need to find is the midpoint. So you find the midpoint by taking the lower and the upper values, and then you sum these two values and divide by 2, so you get the midpoint over here, and then you get the sum over here. So this is the sum. Okay, the next thing that you need to do is to find the fx. Okay, and then finding the fx square. So fx square. Okay, so you need to find the sum of fx and also the fx square. So basically, fx is simply multiply the number of CT. So in this case, this is the frequency. So number of CTs is the frequency, that is f. So you multiply with the midpoint. So here you have equal to f times the midpoint. Okay. So you get 75 over here. So you can do this, okay, 10 times 17.5 and so on. So do this for all the values. So you get this number, and then also you can find the sum over here. Okay, so whenever you calculate the sum, so in this case, I just highlight the sum over here. Okay, when you calculate the sum, you get the sum of fx is 1135, and then to find the value for fx squared, you just need to multiply f with x squared, or just simply multiply fx with x. Okay, so you can just do that. So in this case, equal, I just multiply this one once again with x. Okay, so you get this value. Okay, so that is the summation value. So once you have the summation value, now you can find the value of x. So let me just do this first without the calculator, right? So you can just find the summation of, so summation of x, summation of fx is simply 1135, and then summation of fx square is 27862.5. And then to find the mean, so just simply x bar is equal to summation of fx divided by n. So this gives you 1135 divided by 50. So we're going to calculate this later. Okay, and then for the standard deviation. So S, this is gonna be the square root of 1 over n minus 1 summation of fx square minus the summation of fx, the whole thing square divided by n. Okay, substitute the value, you're gonna get this to be 1 over 50 minus 1, and then this one gonna be 27862.5 minus 1135 square divided by 50. Okay, so let me just do this calculation once. So let's see what is the answer. So let me just bring up my calculator. Saya buat naikkan saya punya calculator dulu. Tutup semua ni. Okay, kejap lagi kita akan buat yang guna calculator. Okay, this is for those yang tak mahir guna calculator, tak ingat cara nak guna dia macam mana. Dia besarkan tak? Okay. Okay, if you want to do this, so let me just click on the one without the function. Okay. Insert ins. Ada insert tak? Okay, so kalau katakan kata you tak boleh nak buatkan dia punya summation ya, so what you can do is just simply, if you want to do the summation, okay, without using the table everything, you can also use just the calculator. Okay, so let me just show you once. Okay, katakan you tak nak buat table ni lah, so you nak guna calculator, and then semua nak guna calculator. So you just need the sum value, right? So what you need to do is just simply multiply the f and x. So the first one over here, let's say you have fx is 6 times 12.5. So 6 times, so let me just 12.5 and then plus, okay? So plus because you are taking the summation. 10 times 17.5 plus 20 times 22.5 plus 7 times 27.5 plus 4 times 32.5 plus, and lastly you have 3 times 37.5. So when you press the equal sign, you get the sum of all the values, right? So let's say you want to do the fx squared, because you know that you need to square the value of x, right? So what you need to do, you don't have to rewrite everything 6 times 12.5 squared and so on, right? So what you need to do is simply scroll back to the top. So using the scroll function over here, so go back to the top and go back to the left. Okay, so now you move the cursor until the beginning. Okay, you move balik sampai mula. So 6 times 12.5, right? So now move the cursor to before the plus, in this case before the plus. Okay, so let's just click insert button. So under above the delete here you have ins, so this one is for the insert button. So shift delete. Okay, they give you a cursor over here. So what you need to do right now is just simply put a square here. So you can see it's now become 6 times 12.5 square. So you move the cursor to the next one, that is after 17.5, and put the square. And then move again to the 22.5 and then take the square. Okay, just now you have calculated the fx, you have got the values. So now to 7.5, press the square button, and 32.5, press the square button, and then lastly you have 37.5, press the square button. So once you have come to the end, just click equal sign. So you get 55725. So if you want to have this one in the form of the normal value, so you can just use the normal value sign. So 557.5 is simply equal to 27862.5. How to do that? I think this one, right? So let me check. Is this the one? Or this is the one? So let me just click this one. Sorry, wrong one. Okay, so just let's see. So I just take the answer. Okay, so I get this one. So I'm not sure this one, which one that you have to. I think is it engineering. Okay, so you have this one. So if you want to have the values to have no 10 to the power of 3, you can just move this, right? So let me just shift this one. So this one is going back. So another one. Okay. So you have 27862.5. So get this one, right? Okay, now let's see how we can solve the problem. So calculating manually, so you have 1135 divided by, so 1135 divided by 50. So you get the answer to be 227/10, or this is just simply 22.7. So you get this answer to be 20. So this is 22.7. Okay, the next one is to find the value of S, right? So to find the value of S using manual calculation, okay, what you can do is you can do the run in the bracket first. Okay, so using the PODMAS method. So first calculate 1135 to the power of 2. If you want to do it once also can. Okay, but be careful with the values. Okay, be careful with the values. Okay, so if you want to do it once, it's okay for you, right? So I will show you the one step by step first. So you have 1135 and then take the square, divide by 50. Okay, you get this answer. So this is the back one, and then take 27862.5 minus the answer that you get just now. So you get 27862.5 minus the answer that you just get found just now. So equal to this much. And then this is 1 divided by 49, right? So that means the whole thing just now. So 2098, you have to take the division with 49. So you divide by 49. So you get this one. And then take the square root. So square root of your answer. So you get 6.5434. So you get this one to be 6.5434. Okay, so this is similar to the answer that you have over here. Okay, you have 22.7, and then for S squared, that is the variance, 42, and then for S, you get 6.5434. So that is if you are using it manually. So right now, I will show you how to calculate this using your calculator with the statistical function. Okay, so just bear in mind for a while. Okay, so let me just clear everything. The first thing that you need to do is to change the mode. So mode number 3, that is that. and then choose number 1 for one variable. So now you are already in the form of a frequency distribution table. So that means you don't have to go back and do the, if this is not displayed, the frequency is not displayed, what you just need to do is just simply go to shift mod, sorry, so shift mod, and then scroll down, take number 4, that is that, and then just switch on the frequency or off the frequency. Now we want to switch on, so number 1. So go back to shift number 1 and enter the data, number 2. So you can enter the data as given. So midpoint is 12.5. So 12.5, sorry. Okay, equal, and then 17.5 equal, 22.5 equal, 27.5 equal, 32.5 equal, 37.5 equal. Okay, then move to the next one. So the frequency is 6, 10, 20, 6, 10, 20, 7, 4, 3, 7, 4, 3. Okay, and then you can just clear the screen. To find the summation, as usual, shift number 1, choose number 3, and then you want summation of fx is number 2, equal sign. So you get 1135. And then to get the summation of fx squared, so shift number 1, number 3, and then choose number 1 for fx squared equal. So you get 27862.5. Okay. So once you have this value, write down the formula, fill in the values, and get the answer. Similarly for the standard deviation. So to find the answer, shift number 1 again, choose number 4, that is for variable, and choose select whichever information that you want. So in this case, you want the x bar, so number 2. Okay, so equal sign, you get 22.7. And again for the variance, number 4, you want number 4, equal sign, so 6.54341. Okay, so that is for the standard deviation. Okay, let me just go very quickly, since we are already out of time, for the answers for the rest of the questions. Okay, so that is for the first one. And then the second one, draw a less than or GIF for the above data. So in this case, whenever you want to draw a less than or GIF, you need to use the cumulative frequency distribution. So start with the lower class boundary. So you have 10. Okay, this is lower boundary. And then this is the cumulative frequency. You have 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, right? So you have 0, 6, 16, 36, 43, 47, and 50. So using this value, you can come up with your ogive, less than ogive, because they want you the less than ogive. So you start with 0, end up with maximum value. If you want the greater than ogive, you start with the maximum and then reduce until 0. So drawing the ogive, so this is the ogive that you obtain. Okay, so this is your ogive. Okay, you have the title. Okay, you have the title over here, and then you have the label on the X and Y axis, and make sure that you have the graph. So the graph, you can just use the ruler to connect the points. So you don't need to draw a smooth line like this. Okay, and then the next question asks you from the less than ogive, determine the median of rainfall. Okay, you need to determine the median. So that means you have 50. So 50 divided by 2 for the location give you 25, right? So that means you locate 25 over here. So this will be 25. Okay, find the respective values on the x-axis. Okay, that gives you the median. Okay, so here you have the position of the median is 25. So median from ogive, from the drawing, you need to show the drawing, and then you estimate the median. So that's why in this situation, the ogive must be drawn on a graph paper. Okay, you draw the graph paper on graph paper and then explain. So they must have the word half for median. Okay. Next one asks you to use the pre-calculation to determine the skewness of the rainfall. So you can use the Pearson measures of skewness. So using the Pearson measures of skewness, so in this case you have the value of mean and the median. So you have to follow the formula. So P here is actually 3 mean minus median divided by the standard deviation. So this is what you have. So you found that the value to be 0.0917, which is greater than 0. So this is positive. So that means it is positively skewed. Okay. So that's it for the revision. This one is March 2013. You can get the question paper from the EQPS.